Everybody, welcome to Applebox Network.
Sorry,
I'm getting the word. Okay, am I here?
Hey.
Okay, good. Welcome everybody. You might have noticed we're a little late today. We've had a very interesting 5 minutes here in the station. I'd like to introduce Gary Hyman. How you doing, buddy?
I'm back.
Awesome. Gary is back. Gary did not get my memo on wearing a white shirt on the air today. So this is a test. This is a test. And you know what? This is kind of cool because we're going to do something a little different today anyway.
That's true.
What this is viewer's choice. We're going to talk about what you want to talk about. We'll take the lead. We'll start telling a few stories.
Sure.
If you knew Gary and I personally, you know that means about 8 hours worth of hot air flying out from each of us. So
we'll see you in about 8 Fridays.
Yeah. Hey, we could do 3 shows. We could do 8 shows here.
8 shows.
Yeah.
In a matter of an hour.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So here's what I'm going to do. Right now, I'm taking this phone and I am sharing the show. So just take a moment with me here and please share the show yourself. Thank you. All right, here we go. And I am sharing to everyone. I'm going to write a post. That's what I hit first. I go to the Applebox network and I do my drop down for my pages. And I take that and then I'm going to San Diego Grip and Lighting right now. I am posting there. But wait,
there's more. There's always more.
What am I doing? I'm such a rude host. Let's put it on the guys. Sean, Tony. There's Sean and Tony. There's Sean and Tony. You got a big fisheye lens on there today.
Yeah.
So we're looking in there, and they're going to join in too today. We're going to have a real round table sort of talking about whatever subjects in the media that we think are important. So we're going to be visiting these guys. They probably want more money out of me, so I'm going to put that one. I'm going to put that one off limits. Will have to be some other media problem. So we're going to have fun. It's pretty loose. We're going to have a good time. That's what we try to do anyway. We try to come in here. It's just like on set. You're going to work hard. You're going to do a great job. But at the same time, you're going to have fun with your friends.
And you'll go home broke. So it's great. What can you ask for?
Just like this show. Yeah, perfect, Gary, perfect. Yeah, my camera looks a little hot there. I don't know what it is, but that's okay.
It's okay.
Who cares? Okay, let's see. Let's start out. Well, listen, I think what I'm going to start out, there's a couple things that I can talk about, but let me just start here on this one. I had someone, and this is good parts to this story and some not so good parts to this story, if you will. One is, I was lucky enough and felt blessed and honored enough to have several guys on one of these post sites on Facebook that says, I'm looking for gaffer with grip truck. And you know, I've got some people that are friends, but they're clients too.
Sure.
And these guys are so sweet. I mean, they always will put my name in the comments.
Right.
So that they're saying, this guy you can trust.
Sure.
So several guys put my name in the comments, and that was good. The lady got a hold of me, okay, and I, went back and forth with her. First, she wanted to know, how much, what we were talking about, what we were talking about, and so she told me right off of the front. She goes, "It's $250 for 12 hours." Well, right then I knew that's like. There was a day I would have taken that job.
Sure, of course.
Those days are over for me right now. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I know somebody would find that job valuable, and they should have it, not me.
Right.
Right.
Who'd you refer?
Well, hold on.
Oh, okay. I'm excited about it.
I actually did, and I'm not going to say who I referred. But
DK, initials
no,
DK?
No.
Okay.
No, but wait.
Okay.
But wait. There's more. Okay. what it was is she sent me an equipment list too. And so I go, okay, well, here's the money part for me if I
Sure.
put somebody else on it who can do those rates
Absolutely.
in that time, right? And I called her up about something on the list, and I was just going to give you an estimate, and she goes, "Oh no, the rate includes the equipment."
Wow. 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 Wow.
What?
What?
You know, I just like, so automatically, and this is something that I went into. I know I'm not dealing with someone who is real production
Sure.
savvy. You know, this is not something they do all the time. And admittedly, I mean, it's a passion project. They do that. I don't begrudge them
Right.
for trying.
Of course.
But I just, you know, you should know that it's not going to work. I don't know anybody who would take that deal, right?
Right.
So I just said, you know, I'm sorry, that's not going to work for me. I'll have to find somebody else.
Sure.
But I just thought about how, you know, do you vet and how do you nicely, because there was the edge of an argument going. You know what I mean? We weren't very on, but she got a little bit curt in another
Sure.
message to me about like, well, if that's
Well.
not good enough, you know what I mean? That sort of thing. And of course, I didn't want to go down that road. It wasn't worth it. And there
Right.
was no reason for it, you know. But the other half of it is I certainly didn't want to get in any. First of all, I didn't want any conflict
Right.
in the issue. That's number
Sure.
one. But part of that reason was because of the guys that promoted me,
sure.
or suggested me. I didn't want them to look bad
Right.
in her eyes because I don't know what her relationship is with
Sure.
them, you know,
Sure.
or anything like that. So that's something I guess it just comes up for me that happened to me this week, you know, and it's just like, be careful what you do. Be careful to tread lightly when you see something like
Absolutely.
that. There was a time probably in my career I might have said, "What are you talking about?
What are you thinking?"
Crazy?" Yeah, you know.
That's
So-
my hourly rate.
That's yeah, exactly. So I've got a couple other things. I don't know if that brings that. Let's have your comments. Let me hear if this has happened to you, or you know what's going on, and what do you think I should have done?
Right,
You know?
absolutely.
What do you think I should have done? Should I have set her straight? It
Sure,
might have
set her
helped
straight.
her.
Yeah, might have helped
It might have
her.
helped her if I did that in a very productive sort of
Sure.
teaching way. You know
Sure.
what I mean? Or,
Absolutely.
I didn't take the job, obviously.
right.
You know.
Right.
But
And what do you do in that case, Bernie? You know, here comes a, I hate to use the word lowballer, comes through. Do you refer them to somebody? Do you just wish them well and send them on their way? I mean, what's the end result at the end of the conversation? I'm sure the viewers like to know about that.
you know, I'll tell you that's a very, very good question. You know, somebody I did, you know, I did refer somebody to her.
Right.
I gave them the word up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
What was to be expected.
Sure.
I never heard back.
Right.
So I don't know exactly how it all came down. I suspect it didn't fly.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Gosh, you know, I wouldn't refer it.
Right.
I wouldn't refer that type of deal.
Absolutely. You know that you come to a point where sometimes I do bite onto a little bit lower budget jobs.
Sure.
But I'm hoping that I can maybe pick up the post production end of it.
See, that's an advantage.
They refer you to a bigger fish.
You're right.
So there's a couple little trends, a couple little things, to think about before you really push it aside.
Listen, that is a very, very good point. That is a very, very good point. And because one connection begets another connection.
Absolutely.
And that's the way our industry works. So you don't want to pull yourself out. You don't even want to be anything that's kind of rough.
Absolutely. And maybe when you ask her about the project, hey, well, what's going on? Is it, you say 12 hours, but is it a true 12 hours or is it up to 12 hours? What do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want done at the end of the day?
Yeah.
And how are you going to post it? And maybe drag in some of the other potential shoots that is it going to get bigger? Is it going to get smaller? Is this a one and done?
Right.
Feel it out a little bit, but at the end of the day, if that's all she has and it's one project, than wish it into the cornfield.
Yeah, wish it into the cornfield. There's a good Twilight Zone.
You like that, Sean?
Right there. That's a
Tony,
good
I got a
Twilight
smile
Zone.
out of him. Thank God.
Billy Mummy.
Billy Mummy.
Billy Mummy.
That's right.
Was the star of that Twilight Zone. Yeah. You're a bad man.
You're a bad man.
So that is a very good question. Now, with something that low,
Right.
that low with the expectation of the equipment for that number is like,
yeah, you're probably
don't even
going
really
down
want to go down that line
down
of
that row,
inquiry,
down
what
that
I mean?
row, absolutely. And then what about say one of your buddies had referred you to them, and I've got a ton of those calls going, hey, blah 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 referred you, and I'm up and I go, oh, that's great, I really appreciate it. He goes, yeah, all I got is $100, we got 30% of the business. It seems like you get that kind of calls like that,
right?
And do you just go, oh no, I don't even work for that low, or you got to be careful too, because maybe your buddies stop referring you. Because, of course, they're just going to dump all sorts of size fishes on you.
Oh, sure.
Small fish, big fish.
Whatever.
So just got to be a little tender on the let go.
I think so.
Instead of yanking it out of their mouth and putting them back in, you just gently pull the hook out and keep them on the way.
You just want to always take it. And I know that's something you've always done. You've always been pretty sensitive about explaining things to people and taking the right approach, which is very good.
Yeah.
Is very good.
Yeah. Let them down easy.
Let them down easy. Let them down easy. To sort of speak to the absolute polar opposite of that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I had another experience this week, which you'll appreciate. And that is, I got a list from a client that I've worked for before. Okay. This was a little different because none of the people that I was referred to this client through a crew person.
Right.
Okay. This crew person and the rest of the crew that were on the shoot previously are not working on this one.
Right.
And I think that's due to a variety of reasons. They were busy and they didn't need as many personnel or whatever. They gave me a list, okay, of, I would say, about 80% of the money-making items on that list I didn't have.
Right.
Okay, I didn't own them. Or they're booked already.
Sure.
Because I've got a hugely busy week next week, which is what it was for. So that means that I've got to go out and sub-rent, right? Well, there are certain items I can sub-rent, and I know, and we talked about this actually at dinner last night.
Sure.
But there are some items that I have that I can make money on, and that's great. I don't actually need to buy them because I can sub-rent them, and I don't rent them that often that I can make money on. There are other items that are much harder to make money on in a 1 or 2 day rental situation. So either you decide you want the job and you're just passing sort of that along at no cost to get out what you have on the plate you do own, So that's a decision that, we're always making, in that sense. So I do the estimate, right? And the estimate is like $12,000.
Sure.
Right? And it makes me uncomfortable. Right? Because I know with what we're talking about, and I know the number of days on the shoot, I've got a pretty good idea of what they are expecting. And that's, I know, more than that they are expecting. And just one thing that I do, and this is important to I think, put in here, is like, whenever I make an estimate, I make the estimate at retail value. I don't put a discount. I don't put any sort of percentage off, unless we previously talked about it and discussed that. I give them the straight retail estimate, and I expect a response from them. Like, are you out of your mind? Are you crazy? We don't have that kind of money. Who do you think we are? Any of those stuff I'm going to expect back, and then we discuss it, and we hopefully can work that out from there. Well, I got the word back, and they go, our producer has found another supplier for this shoot.
Thank you anyways.
Oh, okay, all right, Maybe I should have put the discount on it,
I wanted to ask you, Burnie, how many times have you been hit up clients, new clients, to say, hey, listen, I've got this small little project, but it's going to lead into many, many more big projects. How many times have you heard that line?
I should have a T-shirt with that on it.
Yeah.
I should have a T-shirt with that on it.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's the response back? Because I'm sure our viewers out there, you know, they're asking.
Let me give you my classic line.
I want to hear this.
Let me give you my classic line. So somebody comes in to say, look, we're doing a pilot, okay? And we've got friends over at ABC, History Channel, CNBC, wherever
Sure.
they have friends at. And I know this is a go. But here's what I need. I need you to come in for this one and do it for nothing.
Yes.
But when we land this thing, you've got every one of them from there on out, you know. Which, number one, just think about this. If they're going to sell the show to somebody, they've sold the show. They can't put anybody on it. The person who bought the show is going to decide who the gaffer is, and the DP, and the director, and all of that. So these people have either, one, told me a known lie, or they don't have enough experience in the business to understand the workflow of what happens when you
the latter.
sell a
It's
show.
always the latter.
It's the latter.
Most of it's
the
latter.
latter.
People have no clue.
They don't have a clue.
Yeah.
They don't have a clue. So what I do, and I used to take great pains to explain this to people and go down this road. Now what I say to them is this. I will do the first one at full rate. But when the show goes, I will give you the first two at 50%.
Oh, nice.
So now you're making the bet with me.
Sure.
Now you're making that bet that it's going to go with me, and you'll still save the full amount of money that you would
absolutely.
if I gave you the first one for free.
On the front end, yep.
Never had a single callback after I've given them that offer.
Absolutely.
I consider it an offer.
Yes,
You know.
sure.
So that tells me
That's pretty
volumes.
cool, yeah.
That tells me volumes right there. And you know what? I think maybe a small percentage, 3-4% maybe at most, would have been rip-off people.
Right.
They are people with a good idea that they're sure that it can't fail, and I've had a lot of those good ideas that can't fail as well myself. Yeah, the guys are laughing back there. They go, yeah, this week. They go, this week you've had 3 ideas that have failed.
Are they still complaining about living wages back there?
Living wages. Living is so overrated, guys. Yeah. That's what I'm telling you. You don't understand.
Sean, just stay at home.
And besides that, you know what? In Pakistan, you guys would be rich.
Oh my God!
Hugely rich.
You'd have diamonds coming out of you.
Yeah, you know what. But so that's kind of my point there is that, you know what I mean. Most people are sincere and honest about what they do. But once again, and that's one of the reasons for Burnie's Applebox here, is to try to teach people
share ideas
and make them more aware of how all the media in your life works. You know what I mean? Those great ideas that you had for the reality show, they are great ideas. They would be entertaining. And I can assure you, whatever original idea that you have has been pitched 400 times to every network.
400,000 times.
Maybe so. Because those ideas are not, those shows are not about ideas.
Yeah.
Those shows are about people who can get shows on networks.
Absolutely.
And that is an entirely different science than having a good idea for a show.
Absolutely. Right down the bottom. You know, I did want to bring up rentals.
Yeah.
Rental items.
Okay, good.
And
do we have any questions? Is anybody watching this show?
Yeah.
Is
Knock,
anybody
knock.
out there? Hello.
Knock, knock.
Hello.
You
Are
out there? Knock, knock.
Yeah, come on, write in. Let's hear from you. You know, tell us how much you hate us. I love that stuff. I love that stuff. Why not? Oh, one comment. Tony says
Bring
I got
it on.
What
Tony.
is it, Tony?
We're going to send it up here in a second.
All right.
From our good friend Bjorn.
Oh, Bjorn, I love you.
Our good friend Bjorn, who needs to remind us what country is actually in, because I can't remember.
Germany, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's Germany. I think it's like Norway or something. But hey, post it in the comments, Bjorn. Where are you actually located? But yeah, put it on it. Yeah. So he gave us a comment. Just a comment, actually. I'm mostly doing photography stuff. It's funny how people think that it's not a big deal and not really time consuming. So most people just know how much time and work is needed for something like that. I guess that's that way with a lot of things. So I guess people tend to want to take other people for granted when it comes to work because they don't either they do understand and they want to deal, or they don't understand how much time it really takes to do this kind of stuff.
Right. No, I think that's a very good point. And you know, everybody looks at this industry like a photographer, or they look at us, videographer, whatever, and they always go, "Oh man, I wished I had that job.
Yeah,
that looks like the one. That's like." You know what? I'll just tell you, Bjorn, that the equivalent, how I explain what I do to people, where they understand what kind of work it is I do. I go, you know, having a grip truck and being a gaffer is a lot like owning a backhoe.
Yes.
And that is, I come in at one point in somebody's project and I dig the ditch. That's what I do with my grip trucks when I'm on set. I'm digging the ditch. Yes. Because they're going to take that raw material and they're going to go and they're going to construct it. That they're going to edit it together and build something out of it that makes sense and can persuade you a certain way about an idea or to buy something or do any of those things. So I am the guy who's not finishing the house. I'm not putting the roof on the house. I'm not pinning in it. I'm simply digging the ditch.
Absolutely.
And being a photographer, if you will, and this is different, so don't get me wrong, being a photographer is much different than being in my area of the world, which is motion media. You know, you are somewhat in the same way. You maybe aren't buying the ad space, you're not making the campaign, you're taking the pictures.
Sure.
You're digging the ditch.
Absolutely.
You know, you're making that product ready to go out there and sell whatever they're selling. So it's a type of thing that people don't understand, that it, just like Bjorn says, it is work. It is. You're not out there on a hobby. You're not seeing how well this will work out. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You get paid for that. And photographers make some huge dough.
Oh yeah.
You know, you get into that commercial world and all that.
But to get to where the finished product comes up, you know, they have to field the sales call.
Yep.
They have to prep for the job.
Yep.
They got to do the job.
Yep.
And they got to go home and post the job.
Yep.
And then they got to deliver it. So the only
yeah.
time the client sees you working is right there on that day of clicking.
Yep.
So they don't know what the pre was, the day of. Yes, they know a little bit. Maybe they don't even show up to the job site.
Yeah.
They have no idea you're out in 100-degree weather. And,
they don't care.
Things are delayed.
I mean, really,
you got to wait.
They've got their own problems. What
Absolutely.
you're doing on set. The classic line for me has always been, you know, oh, let the B unit do that. You know, it's just like these guys on the A unit are terrified of being on the B unit because they know they got to do every horrible shot there is that they can't figure out how to do. Right?
You know, I wanted to talk about the rental game.
Yeah, please, let's
kind
do
of
that.
deal.
Yeah.
And
let me hold you on it. Anybody got any questions, any ideas, or any subject they want to talk about? Throw it out there. Just throw it out there. All right.
Absolutely.
Anyway, sorry, Gary.
So no worries. You know, the rental game is very interesting, and I noticed that if it's one piece of equipment, just a little rental, it's more headaches than a bigger rental item. It's crazy. It's something. I mean, I'll bring a story up, and guy wanted a couple of LED light panels, and I was out of town, and it took 3 or 4 phone calls, a text, an email, just for him to get it, and then there were questions about it when he got it to the field, and then to get it back were 2 or 3 phone calls.
Yeah.
So all of that for $100? What do you do at that point?
Not worth it.
Not worth it, right?
Here's a truism in our industry, and that is the smaller the job, the harder it is.
Absolutely.
Because I'll tell you what it is most of these jobs that are small are so terribly financed, and there's no real push behind them, that they're trying to get this A-list creativity, A-list production value.
On a beer budget.
On a beer budget. On a B movie budget. Yeah. And it never fails. And inevitably, they ask you for more and more and more right up to shoot day. And then another inevitability is they're usually angrier about something that might have gone on wrong than anybody else would be, because they're under so much. They got themselves under so much pressure that they're getting pounded from every way. So I look at that, you know, the other big lie. The other lie, by the way, because you'll love this. Should be a half day. We'll probably be out of there in a couple hours. That means at 12 hours you just start shooting. That's what. That
and
means.
then you got some flat food at the.
And you got
right for
pizza,
lunch.
Pizza, if they can afford.
If they can afford it. Absolutely. No flat food second meal.
So anything that is a little lower and stuff like that, don't think, or it's smaller, don't think you're going to work easier. You're going to work harder.
Twice as hard on that small beef. And then another question, Burnie. If a client comes to you and it's a fairly low budget, would you ask them to say, hey, you're asking me for a lower rate? How about COD cash at the end of the day? Would you do that for a client? Would you make that an offer?
I'll tell you this. The answer is bingo, yes, of course. But let me tell you, in my case, by the time I'm having that conversation, it's already understood I'm going to charge your card.
Oh, just to hold your time.
No, we do this job. You're going to get your card charged. It's not going to be, you're not, even, you know, look, you want to pay cash? I could do a cash deal. You know what I mean? I mean, that happens sometimes, but cash, I still got to pay taxes on it. So, you know, I mean, it goes through my system. I can't keep the cash out of my system because I need the money.
Well, of course.
That's the bottom line. I mean, I'd like to say, oh, yeah, that's great. Here, you know, sorry, you, Uncle Sam, you don't know about that. I can't do that. Because I got to put it in the system because I need the money.
Right, of course.
You know?
So if somebody says, "Hey, listen," you say, "All right, I'm gonna bid you out of 20 grand," and somebody says, "Hey, listen, let's do it for 10,000 cash." Would you do that? Just, no. Just flat no.
I would not. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because if I've told them 20,000, I've maybe got enough room. Remember. Still got to make money here.
Of course.
I've got enough room to maybe take it down 5 to 10% then. So I can't do 10,000.
Margin. You got to go. You got to look at your margin.
And anything on that scale, I'm going to do 50% down. I'm charging their card, and I've got a card. So now remember, my legal place right now is they have given me a credit card. Right?
Oh, yes.
And now, if that credit card's no good, there's actually legal liability to that.
Absolutely.
So I try to put myself in the position I don't have to guess.
Yes.
And I think we may have a call. I think we may have a question here, Tony.
Actually, our good friend of the show, William Primrose.
Has, William, thank you.
I've
been back and forth with William a little bit too, liking some of his posts this morning too. Thank you, buddy.
Sweet. He's got a great comment, actually. What I've been doing is rent out my truck inclusive, filled with the equipment, and take it to the set, and the production supplies, the grips, and such. All I do is control what goes on off the truck. And yes, I bring a book. All the rentals are paid 50% deposit to hold the date, and the rest 24 hours before I go to location.
William, come to my close-up.
That's right.
William,
can you zoom in?
William, you are my god. Okay, William, that is so dead on, dude. I love hearing it, and that's obviously from someone who's a total pro, a guy who understands the business, and he's handling his clients.
Yes.
Handling the client. Yes. That's what I'm talking about here. Okay.
And he does all payments through e-transfer.
Ooh.
Oh, sweet.
Ooh. You know, let's give him a 4 thumbs up.
4 thumbs up. William, you're our man.
Not only 2, you
are our
4.
Man.
Wow,
you are our man.
Wow.
4 thumbs up. You know, and you know, let me tell you something. This guy has handled his clients. The clients, when they get on set, are not upset about that because he's primed them for that.
Absolutely.
He's already, they know how he works.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And you gain respect that way, too.
You gain a lot of respect that way.
Absolutely.
You gain a lot of respect. You don't gain respect from the people who are trying to lowball you. Yeah, but that's who you want to know first. Yeah. William, I love that. Thank you so much.
Nice job,
Thank
William.
you so much, William. Thank you.
Super. And then, Burnie, I've had some instances where a client would say to me, hey, listen, give me 10% off, 20% off.
Yeah.
I'll have a check for you at the end of the day.
Right.
And then the excuse comes up, here's the end of the day. I'm ready to hand off the hard drive, all the footage. And he says, oh, I forgot to check at
Yeah.
home. Or, oh, I forgot the checkbook.
Yeah.
What do you do in that case? Do you hold the footage and wait for that money?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely.
There you
hold
go.
it. Absolutely. You hold on to that footage. And, you know, I don't know about other states, and I'm not really, and Tony, you may know even a little more about this than I do. If you're a vendor and you are shooting the stuff and stuff, that material is, I think, legally not theirs yet until you're paid.
Oh,
I
interesting.
think you have a hold on that until you're paid. Do you know anything about that, Tony?
You know, I'm probably going to make the wrong call on this. Being mostly I do post, but in my experience, yes, until I am fully paid, and usually I'll do half. I'll do.
Yeah.
Sometimes it depends on the client.
Right.
I'll do half up front and then the other half at the end. But yeah, once those people hand me the final check, it's theirs.
Yeah.
I will usually contractually, agree or ask that I am able to use that footage for my own personal, or not personal, but
Yeah,
promotional
promo.
purposes.
Promo.
Promotional
purposes,
material.
so. And most of them are usually pretty cool about it.
Yeah.
So, but I've had those kind of clients that try to jip me at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
I had one long time ago who back when we were doing VHS. Wanted multiple copies that was never even agreed upon, never even knew about it. Got to the end of it, finished it all up, and said, "Oh, by the way, we need 100 VHS copies." I went, "What?" Like, yeah, we need 100 VHS copies. I said, "Well, that wasn't in the contract."
Yeah.
So, so
They
that's
just
going
kind
to
of
be more
expect
money.
you to.
Yeah, that's
They
quite
expect
an
you to have a
expectation
solution.
level.
Well, no, that's right. Well, that's obviously going to be more money for that. Well, no, we want that. We want that as part. That should be part of the deal, right? You should give us copies. I said, no, our deal was you'll get one copy, and if you want more, then you're going to pay for it. So I actually, like you said, I had to withhold that final project until those people paid me for the service.
Yeah, Tony,
I won't mention the company because it was actually a big company at the time.
Right.
So,
and Tony, I got a quick question for you too, being on the post side of things. Once you deliver the final product to them, final version, the buy off, and they have it, how long do you hold on to that master edited piece, just in case something happened down on the road where they go, oh, Tony, we lost our hard drive, or we lost our, everything went to hell. Do you hold on to projects as per se as a company, or what's your thoughts?
I do, actually. I will hold on usually to the raw footage. If it's, it used to be on tape, so I would just stick it in a closet and forget about it. But these days, I will usually hold it for up to a year. Sometimes longer if it's footage that I like and I will actually use for other purposes.
Sure.
But I'll hold that up to a year. What I do when I actually go into post is I will create not only a master version, but I will create a version that has no graphics. I will also create a version that has split audio, so if there's music and also voice or voiceover, we'll split that. So if for any reason they have to go back and edit or cut, everything is separated.
And you can pull the music out and drop new music in. That's very cool.
Nice. That actually saves hard drive space too.
That part.
See, you know what? And this is what I love about this information right here with Tony. I would have never known that.
Neither I never knew.
You know what I mean? But you know that these guys, when you're doing something just like you do audio, or I do lighting, or Tony does editing, the post, and certainly these guys both, Sean and Tony, work this live stuff, which is very unforgiving, I would say. Everybody, you know what gets me is now, because people can do it on their phone, I always hear this now, live streaming is so easy now, anybody can do it. I go, you could do it with your phone, yes.
Yeah, you could live stream to yourself.
Yeah, it is not easy. It is not easy. Look, we were 5 minutes late on the air today, you know what I mean? And it's because we were down here 2 hours before, but things went wrong right at the very start, and boom, you got to do it, you do it. But Tony, one question for you too on the editing. So you do a piece, right? And then you go through and somebody comes back to you and says, hey, look, could you change this? Could you change that? I'm going to assume now the first time they ask you that, it's sure, you're reviewing it, maybe twice even. What happens if somebody comes back again?
Revision.
The third time, revision, or the
revision,
CEO
revise.
didn't like it. Or,
Right.
How do you handle that? Is that in a contract? Do you put that in a contract to them, or what?
Yes, that is actually also built into a contract. It's usually depending on the client.
Yeah.
Sometimes what I'll do is we'll deliver a review master, because I know from experience that it's never my first contact is usually not the person who's going to be approving this project.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah.
That's just
You're not talking to the decision maker.
no, usually never. It's always 9 times out of 10 it's a committee somewhere
Yep.
of individuals. So
Yep.
I will usually have built in maybe usually 2, sometimes 3 revisions. I'll go
Okay.
at least to the first one.
At least 2, right?
At least 2, at a minimum, yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's 3, because most of the clients I work for are people I know.
Right,
I've had a
sure.
relationship for a while.
Return
So,
clients.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll built in at least 3. And then, beyond that, depending on what they're asking for, if it's something simple as, this shot isn't worked, do you have something you can replace with? Okay, fine, switch a shot, whatever. But, beyond 3, if we're talking about major changes, then where it's built in that we're gonna be looking at more money.
Okay. And Tony, just the last question on post. I do a lot of corporate videos.
Sure.
And the client does, do this, document this meeting, a couple-hour meeting, and then go ahead and edit it together. Well, edit what together? What's your style? You want to paste? You want to highlight? Have you ever come across where you give a timeline, a time code window, and just hand it back to the client via with Dropbox and said, hey, give me the beginning time code, give me the end time code, and slice and dice? Do you ever give them the opportunity to just do themselves?
I've never really, actually, to be honest, never really run into that issue.
Oh, okay. I was just sort of curious.
I don't necessarily do like long corporate stuff
Yeah,
like that.
sure.
So, I have given clients in the past a master like with a burn-in. With a time code
there you go.
With
Okay.
a code burn-in, and just to give them the opportunity
Then they
to say,
can
if
review.
you
Okay.
had to make changes, change this at this point.
Great,
so on and so
great.
forth.
Okay,
Makes
just
it a little
sort of curious.
easier.
Makes it easier. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we have another
We-
comment
Another
From
comments.
Mr.
from
Greg
our
Flores.
good buddy Greg Flores.
Woo! Greg Flores! Greg Flores!
Standing
Yes,
ovation.
sir. Grip rig.
A thumb and a
Grip
half.
support
You get a thumb and a
.com.
half.
He gets 2 thumbs. You get
Okay,
4 thumbs.
I'll give him the-
You get
I'll
4
give him the extra
thumbs.
thumb.
4 thumbs. All right, Greg, how you doing, brother? Greg's called in a couple times.
Oh, yes.
With the grip rigs
Yep.
and all that
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
stuff. So what is Greg's query?
Greg's query today. Hi guys, great show. What app do you use to charge the production credit card?
Yeah.
I have a system at my office that we do that with. I use, I don't even know if this is, they're okay. It's Elevon. That's what it is. That's not an app. That's just the processing software I use
absolutely.
to charge cards. Square, I guess,
Square is
is I do
great,
that.
yeah.
Do you use?
I use an app called BOH,
BOH.
Bank of Hyman.
That's flying.
Did I
by
get
night.
you, Burnie?
That couldn't pass the stress test.
Yeah.
That's too small to fail.
You know what's too small to fail. You know what's interesting is when I was choosing a name of a company,
Yeah.
I thought to myself, what a better name than my name.
Yeah.
Spell the name on the check, Gary Hyman Productions.
Especially Hyman. You want out there something to see it on the
Then
card.
I just cut off Gary to make it real easy. Hyman Productions.
So I'm taking it from your flippant answer
Yes.
back to my main man, Greg.
Greg.
That you do not use an app.
Yeah, I do not use an app.
Do you
I
take
prefer
credit cards?
No, I don't use credit cards, but I
That's
do.
amazing.
But I do direct deposit. I do get
Yeah.
because that way the direct deposit I bypass the little service charge and all that credit stuff, and they can deliver the money straight into my business account from their business account to my business.
Oh
account.
no, that works
Yeah,
for me
direct
very well.
deposit.
Yeah, HBO does that for me. I get a lot of good
Direct deposits, but there's
direct
nothing
deposit.
wrong
But
with taking
that-
credit card
that-
or using an app.
That is different than a credit card. and Let me tell
Absolutely.
you why. The credit card commits the client that they've agreed
Sure.
to pay you, and that is something. Just think about it legally. You know what I mean? They are saying, here's my credit card.
Sure.
This is good. You've got the go ahead. Here's my signature. I'm telling you to charge it one time for this
Absolutely.
amount. All that. If they don't do that, I mean, they're in legal jeopardy.
Absolutely.
If they have agreed to say, yeah, I told them, you say, they said they were going to transfer my bank account stuff, and then they didn't do it.
Well, I won't go on the job until the money's in my account.
Oh, well, now you're talking a different
absolutely.
tune. Yeah, and you're doing it correctly.
Oh, absolutely. Prepaid.
That's
Always
prepaid.
prepaid. Always.
That's prepaid.
Oh, that's what I meant.
But you know what? And here's another thing with the prepayment. What happens if you use more equipment or something breaks?
Sure.
That's where the credit card again.
Absolutely,
here
I agree with
comes
that.
Comes in pretty handy.
I agree with that. Oh, yes.
For me, they sign a rental agreement, and then so I have that
add-ons.
that
Sure.
talked about. Then it's a credit card, a thing, and they also get, and then I get a COI from them.
Sure.
A certificate of insurance. So I get all of that from them first. So I feel like I've at least covered my bases
Absolutely.
legally, that I have their commitment. And of course, too, and I think this is important as well, because actually an email is a legal document.
Oh, yes.
I have them request what they want me to do.
Right.
You know, what, the shoot day, what they want the bid for,
Sure,
all that stuff.
sure.
And then when they commit and they tell me that, it has to be in an email.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely. You know, I go up all the way until the 11th hour. I said, is this all the gear that you need?
Yeah.
Is this it?
Yeah.
And once I get a firm commitment, that's it. We're not going to ask for any more. I usually feel pretty good about going to shoot. Now, of course, there's going to be expendables
Right.
that pop up. And once you get to the location, things can change.
Right.
Too. So I get all that. So I would say 5% of the time things change for me. Oh, do you have an extra camera? Do you have extra this?
Yeah, I
extra
would
that?
say it's a higher degree
Yeah.
for me. I'm
Yeah,
probably
for grip and lighting,
20%
sure.
easily.
Camera in, it's pretty much
Camera
set.
set.
Yeah, camera and
'cause
audio,
you need
pretty
what
set.
you need.
Absolutely.
You need what you need.
Yeah, lighting's
you know,
different game.
but I just want to give Greg to another answer.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who is using an app for charging, can you just put it in the comments if you're watching and just tell us what that is?
I'm interested.
You know what I mean? Yeah, tell us what that is. And like I said, now my wife at the Sawdust Festival in Laguna, she's an artist there, she uses Square. So she can just do that. Of course, it's actually easier set up for her there to sell artwork than Square, because we could do it at the office at the Sawdust.
Sure.
But that is one that she uses and can be used.
How much do they charge on Square?
It's
Do you,
like 2%.
2%? That's not bad.
No, it's pretty.
It's not
reasonable.
bad at all. Very, very
and
nice.
you know, usually the numbers aren't very big. I mean,
Sure.
in my wife's case, it's probably $350, $450. You know, that's the price
Sure,
of painting
sure.
or something like that.
Absolutely.
But I know there are several. What was it? Brad, we were trying to get a call in here for Brad, but what was it? It was Bookeasy or something like that. He had a thing, a whole deal where he can just do the invoice.
Wow.
They pay through the invoice.
Yeah, I'd sure like to know.
If Brad's watching, put down what that app is that you use.
You know, Bernie, another thing I wanted to talk to you about is the actual invoicing program itself.
Yeah.
I'm with QuickBooks.
I'm with QuickBooks as well.
And now it seems like everything's going subscription. So
Yes.
it's either $10 a month, 20, 30, whatever it is, how much you ever need. My question is that if you're going subscription, are they seeing your numbers at QuickBooks? Because isn't your information going up to the cloud and coming back down?
I assume QuickBooks is seeing all of my information.
It's probably doing that anyway.
Yeah.
Well, no. Well, I bought 2010 QuickBooks, and nobody sees. I'm not going up. I'm not carrying it anywhere.
See, now I'm different from you. And here's what I've done, is I had to go on to QuickBooks multi-user, which is another fee, another subscription fee. It's a little higher.
Yeah.
But I get, I think, 5 different desktops or phones or whatever, which is very important for me.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I'm out in the field and stuff like that. Somebody asks me for a quick estimate, I can make it up quickly and do that. At the same time, as soon as I do that and I email it, Connie, my office manager, sees that come right up.
Sure.
So now automatically, I don't even have to say a word. She sees that come up on the computer at her side. She's making a work order for it. She's putting all the emails together and doing all that. So for me, that was absolutely a necessity.
That's the front end of the deal. I'm talking about the back end of the deal, where is QuickBooks looking at all your your cost and your figures? Do they have access to that material?
Unless you're actually using it and saving that information into the cloud or using some kind of cloud service, then no, your subscription is generally just you paying them for the privilege.
Right. Can
of using the
you
software.
tell QuickBooks or wherever the accounting agencies that you're not allowing them to look at any of your figures? Can you?
It shouldn't be doing that anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, they shouldn't be.
They
shouldn't be. And I know you're quite the paranoid.
Yeah. That's 70s thing.
But let me just tell you, they shouldn't be. And I believe I agree with Tony. Without a cloud-based situation, I do not think they can see. They can't.
I was just curious. If anybody knows about that, please let us know. If you have any insight.
I would seriously doubt it, even logistically.
Okay.
Well, in a situation like yours, though, your information will have to live somewhere because
it lives in the
information
cloud.
is being accessed by
That's
different
right.
access
Yes,
points.
that's what I'm saying.
So they have access to mine.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, you had nothing to hide, but if it falls into the wrong hands,
Well,
you got credit card numbers, you got all that on your invoices, right?
Well, anybody that gets hacked now,
Right, of
you're
course.
done. You're
Of
done.
course.
I don't care what they say.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You're done.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you're over. It
Right.
just means that all that information is out. You better go get restock
It's just
on new.
how easy are you going to make it for somebody?
Exactly.
At the end of the day.
Exactly. But I don't know. All your personal information. That's something different.
Right.
I can't answer that.
Yeah, no big deal. I've just said if you had a thought on that, or anybody else had a thought on that.
No.
I'm real curious.
I like it. I think about privacy these days anyway.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I mean, they've hacked Social Security.
Yeah, so
they've hacked the
easily.
Social Security thing. Seems like they've hacked every possible store or anybody
Sure.
who takes
Nobody's safe.
Netflix they've hacked. It's crazy. I don't know. You know what I mean? The numbers that I have in my QuickBooks and stuff like that, if they ever got into it, yeah, it's done. I have been, though, this is one thing, I have been hijacked. In other words, where that ransomware, I have had that happen. They've locked down my computer and says, sorry, your computer's not working right. We'll need 3,200 bitcoins to get your retrieve your information. Of course, here's where I was lucky and listening to the wiser people like my IT guy Tyler.
Right.
And, he had me set up where everything is backed up. Everything gets automatically backed up every day. And I didn't have to pay it. He went back in there and re-downloaded everything, and I may have lost several hours, maybe 12 hours worth of anything.
But you weren't held.
I wasn't held up, and I got all my emails on my phone.
That's great.
So you know what I mean. That was.
I mean, there is a good thing about being on the cloud is that in case you do lose all your information,
you still have it.
You're banked.
Still have
So
it.
they're good. There's the good and the bad.
The good, and
good,
the
bad, and
the
the ugly.
Yeah, I think the thing is in today's business, and here's the thing with us too, and this is always there is no one in our industry who got into the industry to be a businessman.
Of course.
We all got on the industry to make the beautiful picture.
And to have fun.
And to have fun and to work as a team and go see the world and meet people.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You end up, if you're going to be successful and you're going to stay successful, I guess that's really the thing. A lot of people can make it up to that point of hitting success, but they can't maintain it because they have not set up a business model that sustains their success.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of guys like me who didn't start out for it. But you know what? As you get on, you get more. You realize the importance of the business. The business is your job. The business is your employer.
The business at hand. Yes. Bernie, before the show, we were talking about location scouting. And how important a location scout is to a shoot. How, in your experience, how important is it?
Gary,
it's almost the shoot.
I've got a recent 2-day-old story. I'm not going there right this second. Let me just tell you, the scout is everything, and I don't scout more than I scout. Okay, In other words, the majority of my jobs, the first time I'm seeing the physical location and somebody isn't just talking about it, or I maybe sending a picture, which helps but doesn't solve everything, is probably about 80% of the time. Probably more than that.
Oh yeah.
You know. So I'm just showing up. A scout is a luxury anymore.
Yeah.
You know.
It's true.
I will not go out on a scout that doesn't pay me. Although there are exceptions, I will make.
How big the
that.
job is, right?
How big the job, how big it's going to be.
Who with the client.
But by the time the job's that big, they already got me budgeted for a
absolutely.
scout. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that kind of takes care of itself. Just went on a scout here 3 days ago, maybe 2 days ago. And this was at a big church facility.
Sure.
Okay? And I mean, they've got an auditorium in there that would is huge. I mean, it's a huge auditorium. It probably fits like 3,000-4,000 people in there, right? So it's big. We go through this thing and we're using the Artemis, and I'm walking around. We're measuring everything, you know what I mean? And we've got it set up, and we're talking about what we can do in each background and working it. And it's actually a lot of fun.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you're talking about film and video, and you're actually looking at some place, and you're actually doing it. You know, you're having fun with it. And so, and this was just a half hour before the show started. We did that. We get everything. He sends his Artemis pictures with the different lenses he's going to use, with the backgrounds of the photos that we've taken there. Everybody's got that information. Half hour before this show starts, he calls me, and the shoot is starting next Tuesday. He calls me and goes, "Hey, we can't use the auditorium. It's under repair next week."
Exactly.
How many times have you heard that, dude? How many times have you heard that? Oh, that location. Yeah. So that happens a lot. You go, you figure out something, you go out, you lose the location, and then you show up and you're just starting over from cold.
You know what I always get, Bernie, when I used to do sound is I used to get the guy going out there and doing this. This is the greatest thing since sliced bread. But he's not noticing the humming of the power lines behind him.
No, or the freeway right behind
him. Or the school.
Oh, I love this shot.
He scouts on a Sunday, and he forgets school starts on a Monday.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so I think what are the key points you're looking for on a location?
You know what?
Scout?
I think Tony may have something here. Tony, do you got another question? Is that?
No, we've been very quiet, unfortunately.
What was this? Was that just 5 more?
5 minutes left.
5 minutes? Are you kidding? 5 minutes.
Wait a second. I thought this was like soccer where you get the extra time if you're down for 10 minutes. What's that called?
Nobody
Sean?
scored
No,
yet.
man, this isn't the World Cup. Sorry.
This ain't the World Cup. Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, yeah. So what was the question?
The question. Just major points of what do you look for on a location scout?
Gosh, you know, of course, power.
Yeah, number one.
That's number one, because I've got to plug stuff in, so I'm looking at power. But even before that, how close can I get the van/truck
to the
location?
Yep.
And then once in the location, where is the shoot at, and what equipment do I have to move where?
Yep.
Is there an elevator?
Ooh.
Or does that Fisher dolly go up 5 flights, right?
Oh, my back hurts already.
You guys, we only one extra guy. Yeah, but you have a schedule to take a Fisher 10 up 5 flights of stairs.
Been there,
I
done
think we're
that.
going to need a couple more, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So all of those things, it's mostly logistics, of course, power, how close to set, and remember, I'm the gaffer. I'm letting the DP look at his thing. I may be making suggestions to the DP only about what I think may be a good shot. You know what I mean? Something that we could use.
Those are all great. The parking for crew?
Well, parking for crew, I don't usually concern myself with, because I figure that's the production manager's job. You know what I mean? But I'm looking for how far away. Give you another example. I went to a little gaming place who wants me to set up. They're pretty far along in the process of what they're doing, but they want to set up a little studio for daytime gaming.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And they had a very unique situation. A very small room, and the guy had it set up on this is kind of an oblong room, but he had both sets on this side. You know what I mean? I came in, talked to him, and they had a great conversation, because it's like a lot of people we meet, immediately you get along with them and you start talking business. And as the longer I stayed in there, and this is kind of a point too, because we always have a tendency on a scout, go in, look at it, Figure we're going to shoot and leave. I found at this time, by staying in that place with him, and it wasn't a true scout per se, but I was looking at the location we were going to be in, I started to see what he did, and then had some other thoughts, and then so I asked him about that. He loved it. Immediately, you know how that is? If you got the junk in your front yard,
Sure.
and then it's been there a month, now you're passing, you don't even notice it, but everybody who drives by sees the junk there, you know? And it was the same thing with this. He had been looking at that for so long, he couldn't move it in his mind.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that extra set of eyes on a scout
Yeah.
and spending a little time in the physical location can have big payoffs.
Absolutely, I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah. What do you do for audio in a scout?
You know, for audio in a scout, I always ask the primary questions. Are we near an airport?
Okay.
Are we near a school?
Yeah.
Are we near a train?
Okay.
It's all the things that could ruin audio.
Yeah.
You know, and you never want to hear waiting on audio.
Oh no, but
Never.
you hear it
So
almost every shoot.
Every shoot, even when I sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear that, which is the most unfair thing, because the first time the audio guy has heard anything from the talent is when they're sitting down on the first
Well, some
stage.
people count sheep. I count planes and trains and automobiles in my sleep.
All right. Well, listen, buddy, I think that's about it. Thank you, Gary.
Thanks, Burnie, for having me on the
being
show.
with us.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all so much for showing up. Sean,
Thanks for
Tony,
stopping by.
thank you guys.
Thanks for stopping
Thank
by.
you guys. Yeah, and we will be here next week with something.
Something
We'll
for
find
you.
out. We'll
For
find
you.
out.
It's all for you.
For you. Thanks a lot. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. All right. We'll see you next week. Cut. That's a wrap.